right. New business name. Clogged exhaust tuning. Dude, what the fuck is going on? Why am I doing this? This is weird. Come on. Oh my lord. There we go. Now it's working. Okay. Back to this. So, turns out, as I suspected, the exhaust was clogged. So if you listen, it's quite a bit louder now. And that's just what it's going to be. We unbolted the cat back from the downpipe. So, back up a smidge. I was struggling to make power with the car. The boost was peaking at 4,500 RPM. That's how long it took for it to come in to hit full boost. 4,500. Took a lot of duty cycle to hit 9 pounds even. I was really unimpressed with what was going on. I was concerned with a bunch of things. So, yeah, it wasn't great. I go into the car, I'm looking at it, and I realize the resonator in there is not a stock resonator. Now, what a lot of owners don't know is that frequently a lot of resonators that you may buy don't have the same internal diameter as the pipe they're welded to. High performance resonators will, but low performance resonators won't. They'll actually be a smaller diameter than the pipe it's welded to. So you have a 2.5 inch pipe, and then it'll have a 2-inch inner diameter on the resonator. Okay, so anyways, I told you guys during the tune that I smelled exhaust smell. It smelled really bad. It smelled hot, and it was something was going on. So sure enough, we unbolted it. I did a pull, picked up 40 wheel horsepower, and full boost came in at 35 instead of 4,500 RPM, just from a shitty resonator on an SPT exhaust. So now we're back in here, and we drained the pump gas and put in the ethanol. Now, unfortunately, nobody's here. So no one is here to see it or anything. But that's okay. It's 5 o'clock, basically. I have 12 minutes to finish a flex fuel tune, which I obviously can't do. But I want to get somewhere on it because they ordered a new exhaust for the guy. And it won't be here till next week. But I got a bunch of cars to tune next week, and I might not have time to do this one. So I want to get the flex tune as close as I can before then. So if I do get a small amount of time, I can bang something out really quick. Now, just really quick, I didn't change my Cobb flex fuel tables over to the other channel. They're still on B, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I need to copy some stuff over and then change the targets. I got the fueling there, so that's good. The fueling is in there. Timing is probably not. Fuel is, yeah, okay. So I got the injectors, and that was pretty much it. My blend rates, the injectors, and a couple of things I did earlier, but I didn't set the target boost, the wastegate duty cycle, or any of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my, I guess it's, they move it? This one? Nope. Is that edit? There it is, flex fuel coverage, that's right. I forget where it's at. So we're going to copy A to B, and we're going to do the AVCS because I want to do the AVCS. Do boost, boost targets. Did those earlier. Not going to do the ignition. Not going to tip in because I already did tip in. I am going to do the wastegate duty cycle. So I know I'm closer like that. Okay, so I'll copy those over, those couple tables. Okay, I need to lean this fuel out because it's flex. It does not need to be this rich at all. So I'm going to take this whole section here. Actually, looks like I can just pull fuel out right there. Do it like that. I'm going to smooth this area a smidge. That looks funky right there. So we're going to go over here. Fix that. I don't want that kind of load. I want this kind of load. There we go. That's looking better. Doesn't need to be. These things don't need to be linear by any means. Just need to make sense and not have any weird zones that you cross over and spike into something really lean or really rich. So now the pump gas map is actually already this lean. So I clearly need to lean it out some more. Like that. There we go. I don't want to have this one quite that much. Right here. Boop, boop. Big old fucking hole right there. Right there. Did I miss it? I missed it. Right there. Okay. And then this guy right here. Okay. Now this corner down here, like, you ever go here? Like, seriously, this spot's hardly ever really hit. This is only, you kind of only time this zone is here is when you pass through it. You rip a pull, you let off the throttle, it goes to here and then comes back. So you're not even load. Like the chance of even getting loaded in this region is very, very low. But that doesn't mean you should ignore it. It just means that you don't have to be quite as rigid. Not be as aggressive with it or as concerned with it. So we're going to do an initial bulk add. I'm just going to take this whole section right here, and then I'm going to add 4 degrees. I have it pretty conservative. 1.5, 3. There we go, about there, about 4 degrees. That might be too much. Let's see. Yeah, pull a couple out. Okay, all right. Do bulk add there. It's ethanol. You can get away with a lot of timing on it, but you shouldn't be doing too much because if you do too much, you will lift heads. Our goal is definitely not to lift any heads. So we take a look at it really quick. Peak boost 4,000 RPM. I got 9 degrees here. We go to timing. Look at our ignition table here. Our dynamic. What's it adding? We are adding 5. Oh wow. Okay, so 6 almost. So that's only basically about 15 degrees of timing. That is not very much, but that's good. I say not very much. I don't like running more than 17 in that range. A lot of guys run the 20s, but those guys lifting heads. So I run lower amounts. So, dude.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, man.
What's this thing doing?
It had a clogged exhaust.
Really?
So I unbolted it.
God, I do.
But look. All I did was take the exhaust off.
Really?
That's how much power it picked up. Isn't that crazy? Because it was
what causes exhaust to get that blocked up?
They put an aftermarket resonator in it, and it's got a smaller internal diameter than the pipe. Ton of restriction. Look at that. Peak boost on a VF, 4,500 RPM. 4,750, I'm sorry. It was 4,750 for peak boost on a VF. Now you see the new curve, it's all the way at 35. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy what you can do when you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, so yeah. So I was like, guys, I think this exhaust is clogged, but something's not right. It smells funny, it's not pushing a lot of airflow. I was like, let's unbolt it. And so we unbolted it, and sure enough, boom, instant power. So now we're on flex. I'm gonna do flex shield really quick, and I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Well, talk soon. I got my nephew coming to buy this thing, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
See you, bud. Now, this guy lives in California. They reminded me of that earlier. I don't know if I can get 19 PSI out of this or not. We're going to try. See if I get 19. He lives in California, so I am going to lower the timing on his pump gas map because I didn't tune it for 91. So we're going to pull quite a bit out of timing here. I'm glad I did the whole intake air temp safety thing like I showed you guys before. um, where I did it with the math compensation because that's going to really help him when he's in California. So I pulled a degree and a half of timing out right there, and I believe that the air fuel ratio is already rich enough. Let me double check how if it changed with the exhaust. Yeah, it's fine. It's nice. It's actually rich right there. It did 10.5 through that pull. Um, with an exhaust leak even. Hmm, that's fine. I'm gonna leave it that way for California because we don't want him blowing his ship in California. We'll leave all the aggression for the flex fuel. And double check boost limits. That's fine. And we got extra timing on there. We got a leaner target. Whiskey duty cycle is already stupid high. Just hit what we were doing. Now, ethanol makes turbo spool faster. I saw some genius on the internet say the opposite the other day, and I chuckled to myself for a long time. Um, there's so much more mass exiting the engine and imparting energy on that turbine that you definitely spool turbos quite a bit faster um, with ethanol. All right, so I got to flash this. I got to disconnect from the ECU first. Then I'll enable the flash. And then this thing should rip. It might not even need any more tuning. Who knows? We'll see. We'll have them do a little touch up when, or I'll do a little touch up after the exhaust gets installed. I'll verify that everything's good. Oopsie. This guy called me twice. I'm kind of doing something, dude. Got one viewer and no one's here in the chat. All right. I mean, it makes sense. Everyone's driving home now or eating dinner. My God, that takes so freaking long to come through. So stupid how long that takes. It's like, do they even use their own software? Include my laptop. I will give them benefit of the doubt. Once I get a new laptop, I solve the same issue, then I'll flame this shit out of Cobb's one. It's a little bit louder now. Oh, that's more torque. I feel it. That was a quick 50 fucking wheel. Hell yeah. 264 to 323. Oh, my math is bad. That's a 60 wheel. Okay. I'll take 60 wheel out of this thing. Check the log right now. Feedback, fine knock, completely clean. Nothing going on there. We're going over to timing. Look at timing. Mission timing at peak boost is what? 11? Okay, 11. I guess with the intake air temp. No, it's 72. All right, well, we got 11 at peak boost and 25 at red line. That's not very aggressive at all, actually. That's actually quite easy on it. That's really easy on it. But man, I hit that boost target finally. That's nice. Whiskey D cycle still 80% though on the top end. 70-ish through the middle, which is kind of expected for 19% or 19 pounds of boost, 20 pounds of boost. Yep, there it is. Wow, that's fucking great. Honestly, that's a big jump in power, and there's still a good amount of safety in there. I can even add more timing. Yeah, I could definitely add more timing to it. That's a surprising amount. Honestly, I was surprised at how much that went up. That's way more than I expected. So that's good. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. It is time to go. It's time to close, and they gotta do work to anyways, put different exhaust on it, and then we'll run on the dyno and see how close it is, and see if I gotta do any touch-ups to it or not. See where the timing ends up in the end, because different exhaust, different mass airflow rate through the engine, different calculated load. Different calculated load means different timing values, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see where it goes. But I know that right now, at this amount of back pressure with this partial exhaust, it's just unbolted, so there's like a gap in there. It hasn't even totally separated. It's just the nuts are loosened. I'm sorry, they're loosened up and the gasket swung out. So I got like a crack like this big coming out from the downpipe. So that's enough to bleed off pressure though. So I have a lot less pressure, back pressure, and yeah, wow, it's a lot happier. I'm actually really surprised at how much that put on. I mean, that's a typical number for this dyno for these machines with flex fuel, but the old pump gas number was less than this machine or this car usually puts down. I felt like it was kind of struggling, but man, the ethanol woke it right up. That's got 20 pounds by 3,200. That's good to go. And air fuel trim you see here, I got total trims right now of 2% at idle. That was really good. Everything's really happy. So my first one, we were on it. Flex gen or next gen flex fuel working great. Here's my concentration of ethanol right here, 75%. My fuel pressure is right here. The differential you see here is 43.9. So that's all reporting correctly. During the poll, I know you guys didn't see the log, but the log was perfect. The fuel held the whole time. So dam's good, temp's good, cams were good, everything's good. So I know there's a short video, but I wanted those that were here to see me struggle earlier to see that we got the issue resolved, and see the few flex adjustments that I made on this tune for this car. Again, it's going to California, so the timing's got to be conservative. Definitely on the pump gas side and rich, and then we can add some aggression with the flex fuel, which we did. And if you look at my blending ratio, which I'll show you that, a lot of tuners won't show you this stuff. That's the difference between them and I guess. My blending ratio tables, which you will see if we go to my open loop fueling. Nope, this one right here. You see that? So 10%, what they're going to get is 0. So that means it's all on the A map, and then it aggressively ramps in as ethanol concentration increases. I don't need a straight line to 100. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all, because you're not going to put 100 in this thing. And from 80 to 100, the power gain is very, very low, and the safety gain for this engine is practically non-existent. It's almost worthless to even run more than like 60% on these cars. I operate in the 40% range all the time. 30 to 40 is like my ideal place, and right here, about 38 to 50% of my total gain happens in that range. They rip right there. They go really good. And since my pump gas is so conservative, that really gives me the ability to throw it in a little quicker at lower concentrations to get the power up, where the owner's going to want it. So, yeah, this is going to be a good time for them. You'll see the boost is the same thing. Boost limits, boost targets. ABCS doesn't matter because it's the same table for both. It's not a big enough difference between them, but wastegate duty cycle the same thing. But some things have to be linear. Injector, for example, got to be linear because the change in mass with ethanol and the change in stoichiometric ratio with ethanol is linear. So that stays linear. Cranking enrichment stays linear. Fuel economy display stays linear. So those sort of things that follow the fuel mass themselves stay linear. But the things that can affect the power or affected by the cooling, um, as well as the octane. Those kind of things, you can get aggressive a little sooner, and because you can. And so with that, I always keep the pump gas side more conservative than I would even do a normal pump gas tune. I leave it even more conservative than I would do that, because then the owner of that vehicle has just more safety all around, more safety down low, because why not? And then when they want to go faster, they add a little bit of ethanol, and just a little bit of ethanol, 20%, will get them above where they would have been anyways on a full max effort pump gas tune, and then 40% gets them a significant increase over that. 50%, 60% increases more, but then as over 60, the increase doesn't get much, because you just don't get much on something like this with not enough load, right? The turbo can't create enough load on the engine for us to gain anything by being up in the higher ratios. So we didn't do anything crazy there. Anyways, the last change was reflash, so I don't even got to do anything now. I just close my program and back to desktop and close the doors of the shop and call it good. So this one is going to be a ripper, and I'm sure the gentleman that owns it will be happy with it. Like I said, I still have to do the verification at the end once they put the exhaust on it next week, provided I have time to do that next week, because I have a bunch of tunes next week, which is why I wanted to hurry up and get this part of it done before I left today. So anyways, I know it was brief, but thank you for stopping by. I wanted to give you guys that update that the issue was the exhaust after all, like I suspected, and that it is going to be resolved, and that in the end it will be a happy ending. So thanks again. I'll see you guys next video. Have a good night and a good weekend. And